Alright, so day two. Day two, we are talking about measuring segments. And a big part of this is going to be algebra. So, depending on how strong your algebra is, this may be a fairly easy lesson.
Oh,
It's not, huh?
nothing.
It's never easy.
Math is never easy.
Well, depends. I think you guys do a good on some. Alright, first we'll talk about distance. Distance is, write this down, the distance between A and B is the absolute value of the difference of their coordinates. What do we know about absolute value? It always needs to be what? Positive spin. Okay, so the distance of A and B is the absolute value of the difference of their coordinates. Alright, so what is the coordinate of S? What's that number there?
-5.
-5, good. What about the coordinate of T? -2. Alright, so here we go. In order to find the distance of ST, I'm taking those two numbers and I'm going to find the absolute value of their difference. So, okay, hold on. If I have an absolute value of -5 minus -2, what do you get? You should get, well, let's keep getting negative and absolute value first. Chris told us we should get -3, is that correct? Yes, that is correct. But because it's absolute value, my answer is going to be positive 3. Why does it make sense that distance should be positive? You can't go backwards. If I'm going to the mall, are you going to tell me to take, I don't know, 28 and then go -10 miles? That doesn't make sense, okay? We don't travel in negative distances. So, make sure that it's always a positive. All right, let's look at UV. In UV, I have the absolute value. What is U? 2. I always take the difference. And what is V? 7. So we have 2 minus 7. The absolute value was 2 minus 7. No, 2 minus 7? -5. And then once we take the absolute value of that, it becomes positive 5. Does that make sense? So you guys do number 3. It asks you for the length of SB. If I go too fast, also I just said, hold on. Okay, because sometimes I know I go. I listen back and I'm like, whoa, that was way too fast. Just let me know. All right, Sam, this one's yours.
Oh, you chose the right person.
No, I didn't. All right, what is the value of S? -5. I'm going to subtract. And what's the value of B? 7. So -5 minus 7 gives me what? -12. But what's my final answer? Once I drop my absolute value bars. Positive 12. Good. Did everyone get positive 12 here? All right. So far, so good? All right. Segment addition postulate. This means if 3 points, so let's say if 3 points, A, B, and C, are collinear, we're going to put what collinear is. points on the what? Same line. Good. So if 3 points A, B, and C are collinear, then B is between A and C. Kind of makes sense. If they're all collinear, then that means that B has to be in between A and C. All right, in the diagram of collinear points, it says AB equals 3 and BC equals 5. What is the length of AC? This line here, this segment, let's go ahead and redraw it for each of these. So you draw a line on your paper. Because the hardest part about geometry is just drawing it. Okay, we have to be able to visualize it. And put 3 points on the line. So we have A, B, and C. Okay, so based on our directions, what does AB equal?
C3.
3, right? What does BC equal? 5. So they're asking me, what is the length of AC? What is the whole thing? AC equals what? I heard someone say 8. How'd you get 8? You said that. 3 plus 5, then that's the whole segment is 8. Look at number 5, same thing. Take a second, draw a segment. You draw your segment and you put your points on, it's just so much easier to see. All right, number 5 says that AC equals 14. Because AC is 14, I'm going to draw a little line here so I know that that whole thing is 14. What does it say about BC? So where I have the segment BC here, I'm going to write 10. They want us to figure out what is the length of AB. What's that guy going to be? What's AB? What'd you get? What'd you say? Who knows? Careful. The whole thing is 14. That piece is 10. Yep, so that means that this AB is going to be 4. Do you guys see that? No? Okay, look, we had the whole thing, right? They told us the whole segment, A to C was 14. This little chunk here, they told us was 10. We're just finding the missing piece. So we did 14 minus 10 to give us 4. My answer for AB is 4. I want you guys to try number 6. The diagram of collinear points. So once again, draw yourself a line with 3 points on it. Okay, and then look at the labels. It says that AC is 12 and AB is 6. What is the length of BC? Anyone have an answer yet?
18.
Be careful. Minus 6, yeah, so you get, what's 12 minus 6? You get 6. So if you're trying to find that missing piece, it has to be able to add up. So BC equals 6. All right, that's a good starting point. You guys can go ahead and go to lunch. Be back on time so we can go ahead and finish these notes. All right, so number 7. If it says that EG is 59, I'm going to physically draw it in there. It's just so much easier to see. It says, what are EF and what's FG? Well, first, that means that these two segments need to be added together so they can equal 59.
Oh.
Okay? So that's what we're going to do. We need to figure out what x equals, and then we can figure out EF and FG. So off to the side, you have plenty of space. We're going to do 8x minus 14 plus 4x plus 1 is equal to 59. All right, Chris, what are my like terms? What is 8x plus 4x? What do you get? 12 what? Good. Bryant, what is negative 14 plus 1? Other way. Good, negative 13. And that's going to equal 59. Now we're just solving. Okay, how do I get x by itself? What needs to go? That's negative 12 or negative 13, right? How do I get rid of negative 13?
13 minus, no, wait, plus 13.
We need to add 13 to both sides. So now my 13 is gone. So I'm left with 12x. That equals,
72.
good, 72. Okay, so now what do I do to get x by itself?
12 x divided by,
Divided by 12, right?
oh wait, no,
See that? So we have x equals, what's 72 divided by 12? 6. Okay, we just did all that work, but did they ask us for x? No, but I still had to find x in order to find EF and FG. So, off to the side, let's find EF first. EF was 8x minus 14. Instead of x, what do I plug in? 6. And what do we get?
Where did you get 14 from?
That's what they gave us.
Oh.
That's what the segment is. Anybody? 8 times 6 minus 14? 34? Alright, so we know that EF here is 34. We can do this 2 different ways to find FG. We can do the same thing and we can plug in 4 times 6 plus 1, or you can do 59 minus 34. Okay, we already know that that part is 34. What do you get for FG? You should get 25. So I like to box my answers. Those are my 2 answers. They ask for EF and FG. We have 34, we have 25. Once we find one of them, we can subtract to find the other. Does that make sense? Do you guys have Desmos on your phone, the app?
yes.
Okay, so you don't have to use it right now, but eventually you can. Let's look at number 8. Actually, no. Let's look at number 7. Once we start using Desmos, and you guys will have your calculator, or actually I have it saved. All right, you can type in what you need to. So if we're looking at number 7, you could type in 8x minus 14 plus 4x plus 1 is equal to 59. And what do they give us for an answer? X is what? 6. So all that hard work that we just did, Desmos can do that for you too. Okay? But once you have that, then you have to know how to plug it into your segments to get your answer. So we'll use that a lot more this year. All right, let's look at number 8. In the diagram, JL equals 13x plus 3. So go ahead and write that in. This whole segment is 13x plus 3. Okay, so what that means is this segment plus this segment equals the whole thing. So that's how we're going to set it up. So we can solve for x. So I'm going to write 4x plus 6 plus 7x plus 15 is equal to 13x plus 3. You guys want to solve this the long way or do decimals?
Decimal.
We're gonna do a long way, aren't we?
Nope. Chris, you can use decimals if you want. If you guys have it on your phone, use it on decimals and see if you get the same answer. If you don't have decimals, that's fine. You can watch the long way. 4x plus 7x gives me 11x. 6 plus 15 gives me 21 equals 13x plus 3. I'm going to move my 11 first. It really doesn't matter what you move first because we'll still get the same answer at the very end. I just like having positive numbers. So we're left with 21 equals 2x plus 3 minus 3 minus 3. So I get 18 equals 2x. How do I get the answer for x? What do I do here? Divide both sides by 2. So x equals 9. If you use decimals, you should also get the same answer. So you get it? Okay. But they didn't ask us for 9. They asked us for JK. So for JK, I have 4 times 9 plus 6. What do we get there? 4 times 9 plus 6. Well, then to your calculator. 42. So I just took this segment up here and plugged in my x value so I can solve it. Someone tell me what they get for KL. KL, you have 7 times 9 plus 15. Seven times 78. All right, Jackie has 78. Do you all agree? Anyone else try to get 78? Well, I did, so I know it's right. Any questions on 7 or 8? I've got to write some more definitions really quickly. All right. The two segments have the same length and the segments are congruent. This is a word that we will be using a bunch. So make sure that you know what congruent is. That means that when two segments have the same length. And we'll eventually learn about angles that are congruent too. The symbol to show congruency is an equal sign with like a little squiggly line on top of it. That means congruent. And it signifies the term is congruent to. So let's say for instance we have a segment that AB is equal to CD. The lengths are equal, therefore making segment AB congruent to segment CD. If anything is congruent, if it's equal, then it's also going to be congruent. Congruent does not mean that the lines are the same length. Sorry, the same line. It means that the length of one is equal to the length of the other. Congruence is notated on segment diagrams with a segment bisect. No, sorry. Vertical hash marks. I'm ahead of myself. You will have to be able to recognize the vertical hash marks. All good on these definitions? Pretty good? All right, so the midpoint of a segment is a point that divides the segment into two congruent segments. A point line, ray, or other segment that intersects a segment at its midpoint is called a segment bisect. All of these are words that we will practice a lot this unit. We're going to have a day of just vocab before your quiz. All right, so look at this figure up here. We have A, M, and B. Which one do you think is the midpoint, A, M, or B? M, good. So this is my midpoint. Alright, your vertical hash marks are these little guys. That hash mark and that hash mark basically tells me that those two lines are congruent. So if AM is 4, what's MB going to be? It's going to be the same number. That will also be 4, okay? And this is just an example, but these hash marks here tell me that this line is these segments are congruent to each other. So what we do to the first one, we do to the second one. Here's an example. It's the last page. It says find P, Q, QR, and PR. All right, out of P, Q, and R, which one's the midpoint? Is midpoint. So, what does this hash mark and this hash mark tell me? They're going to be the same. Good. So that means that I'm going to take this segment and make it equal to that segment. Okay, on the previous problems, they gave us a number that we had to make it equal to. Here, because it's a midpoint, I know they're equal to each other. So I have 6x minus 7 is equal to, is that 5x plus 1? Okay, 6x minus 7 equals 5x minus 1. So, let's solve for x here. I always like to move my smaller x first. So, I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. You do not have to solve it the same way I do, because you'll still end up with the same answer if your work is right. So, I'm left with 1x minus 7 is equal to 1. What do I do from here to get x by itself? Let's add 7 to each side. So now we're left with 1x is equal to 8. How do I solve for x?
Divide by 1.
Divide by 1, divide by 1. We're left with x is equal to 8. Okay, I didn't have to give them what x was, but I need that so I can answer the question. So they're asking me, what is PQ? I have 6x minus 7. Instead of x, I'm going to plug it as 8. So what is 6 times 8 minus 7? Good. Here's the cool thing about midpoint. Whatever one segment is, the other should also be. So QR should also be what? 41. Let's just double check. 5 times 8 is 40. Plus 1, we get 41. So we know we've done our work right. Because it's a midpoint, they're both going to be equal. So each side was 41. What is PR? What's the whole thing put together? What's 41 plus 41? 82. Good. So they asked me for PQ, boom. Asked me for QR, boom, and PR. We have all three answers. All right, I want you guys to do the last one. Before it's messing up a little. They tell you U is the midpoint. So because U is the midpoint, I'm gonna go ahead and draw in my hash marks. I know that those two segments are going to be congruent because it already said that M is the midpoint. So that tells me that I am going to do 8x plus 11 and make it equal to 12x minus 1 because they are congruent segments. So you can do the work on your own or you can use Desmos. But 8x plus 11 is equal to 12x minus 1. If you guys don't have Desmos on your phone, you can go ahead and download it because you can't check out calculators and it'll be really helpful for you guys to have. All right, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'll do it with you. All right, I'm going to get rid of my positive 8x first, so that means subtracting 8x. That goes away, so I'm left with 11 equals 12x minus 8x gives me 4x, and then minus 1.
So you do the big number. The big number stays and then the small number.
Yeah, I just always move my smaller number, but it really doesn't matter. If you want to use, if you move the 12 first, that's okay. You'll just end up with a negative 4x. And then your answer, like everything will be negative, but at the end, your answer will be the same. Because we still have to go through the same problems. I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So we're left with 12 equals 4x. Divide by 4, divide by 4. I'm left with x equals 3. If you did Desmos, you guys get 3. I want you guys to tell me what is TU, UV, and then TV. What do you get for TU? Let's plug in that 3 for X. What do you get? 35? Good. So if that's 35, what's UV gonna be? 35. Let's just make sure 12 times 3 is 36 minus 1 is 35. Good. So the whole thing together, Diana? 35 plus 35? You type it in. You should get 70. Those are your 3 answers. Does that make sense? All right, let's talk about your homework for a second. Go ahead and flip to day 2 homework. This homework is your homework over the long break. So let's see here. Look at number 3. You see how number 3 has like A and B in those boxes? I want you guys to go ahead and just draw in the first box and in the second box, and go ahead and label them just 3 points, because this will help you. Oh, actually, you don't need the second box. Erase that. Sorry, just the first box. So where it says A, there's gonna be a big box here. This is A. I want you guys to label it G, H, and I. That will help you find the value of Y. 4 and 5, notice that those are those congruent hash marks, or those vertical hash marks tell us that those segments are congruent, so you need your midpoint there. Same with 6 and 7. Just notice those hash marks. All right, we're done. We have about 5 minutes until the bell. You can start your homework, or you can have this time to yourself. Good job today. You got through it.
I'll see for 5 minutes.
You can do that.